Hello and welcome to the Midnight Bible Study. I want to talk about something that happened in Genesis chapter 11, a terrible thing that happened, something that is frightening. I'll just be honest, it's frightening. It's frightening not for those people in Genesis 11, but for you and I. It's frightening because it's pointing, what happened in Genesis 11, it foreshadows what's anticipated to happen just about any time. Could happen very soon. No one knows exactly when. It could. Do I think it'll happen in the near future? It certainly could. It certainly could. It could. There's a lot pointing to it happening in the near future, but nobody knows the exact date when such frightening things could happen. And I don't think anybody's in a hurry to see them happen. It all begins in Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. It says, and they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves." So we have these ambitious people building the Tower of Babel. And the Lord said, indeed, the Lord caught notice of what they're up to. He said, indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do now. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So if you were wondering where languages came from, that's where it began. So the Lord scattered them abroad from over the face of the earth, and they ceased building the city. So what happened? What did men do? Well, the men said again, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top in the heavens, let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. So men are ambitious, and if they're all unified, they can do anything. The problem is with human nature, we know that these are the descendants of Noah. These are the descendants of Noah. And we know that the ancestors the people who came before Noah were wiped out by God because they were doing bad things. They were engaged in all kinds of sin and evil. And so now God sees the descendants of Noah suddenly getting maybe proud and let's make a name for ourselves. Let's build this building and we can do anything. And God knows human nature. And he said, all right, let's scatter these people and confuse things, because if these people are unified, I suspect he didn't like the idea of them being able to do anything they wanted. Perhaps he didn't think that would be good things. So he scattered them abroad. So what exactly then was his response? Well, he confused the language, he stopped their building, and he scattered the builders abroad all over the face of the earth. Now, what's so frightening about this? What does it foreshadow for you and I? Well, this was the first attempt to build a global government. Now, it wasn't the last attempt. We saw that the communists tried to build a world government, and we saw that Stalin in the process murdered 30-40 million people of his own people. The Chinese Cultural Revolution exceeded that number. And we've seen communist dictatorships rise up in countries all over the earth. And every one of them, in every single case, it's turned into an extremely ruthless dictatorship where hundreds of thousands of people have been slaughtered. So it's been tried before, and in this case, God put an end to it. What does it foreshadow then? It foreshadows another attempt at global government that has yet to precede the Antichrist. It foreshadows the future tribulation, when the Antichrist rises to power, and with the help of a false prophet and a global ruling body, rules for a horrific 7-year period. So that's what we now. Is this going to happen? When's this going to happen? Well, there's a lot of things that have to happen first have already happened. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. Like I said, this could happen next month, next year, or it could be 10 years. No, it's hard to know for sure, but it's coming. It's definitely coming, and there is. This is how bad it's going to get. God says in Matthew 24:15, this is when the abomination desolation comes. That refers back to Antiochus, who did a desecration in the worshipped, did a desecration in the temple in Jerusalem. Did an abomination there. And so it's going to happen again. And when it does happen, according to Jesus, so this is talking about the future, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains, because it's going to happen again, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. Flee to the mountains. That's the direction. And then Jesus says in Matthew 24:21, for then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. That's pretty grim. That means nothing we have seen in history will match what we have to look forward to. It'll be worse than anything we've seen in history. Now, we all know we've seen some horrific things in history. Well, this is going to be worse. So that's the bad news. The good news is at the end of 7 years, we win. So the message here is patiently endure. Patiently endure. You're on the winning team. Keep the faith. Run the race to win. God bless, and good night from the Midnight Bible Study.